So something that's on my mind these days, I think that is also something that can help you in your journey as well, is the importance of scheduling, time management. Like if you want to take anything to a high level, and this also applies to your dating life, social life, skill acquisition of any kind, simplifying your life, stripping your behaviors down to bare necessities so that you're not getting overwhelmed, because that can happen. You can start getting overwhelmed thinking about all these things you need to do, but then if you actually look at what are the necessities in your life, like say for your diet, what do you actually need for survival? Water and nutritious foods. But then what do? We start eating all this processed foods. You got all this marketing of all these different items that you can indulge in, and it can feel overwhelming. And that's why you simplify things down. Just the same as coming back to first principles, whatever that might be in whatever area that you're looking at. We got the basics. You got the fundamentals. That's basically where everything stems from. In any arena, master the basics, master the fundamentals. When you're looking at your, say, skill acquisition of any kind, and again, this is a dating channel, but I mean, it encompasses many different areas of life. And so, how would you go about cultivating your skills to the highest degree possible? Managing your time, stripping things down to the bare necessities. Sleep, eat, drink water, make money. Make money for yourself, because it's going to allow you to have the resources necessary to be able to then fund whatever other pursuits that you want to go on. You got to pay for club fees. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you got to pay for transportation. You got to pay for food to eat. You need it for even just basic survival. So then that's why you're focusing on your money. Focusing on your health for longevity so that you can enjoy your life, your quality of life. But then we get wrapped up in all these addictions, and we get wrapped up in indulging ourselves. And then it's so easy. Everything is so accessible nowadays for instant gratification, for example. Things you don't actually have to earn, things you don't actually have to work for. And it's not as meaningful, but it'll give you temporary pleasure in the moment. But then afterwards, like when you watch porn, when you jerk off, you don't really feel proud of yourself. You're not cultivating self-respect. You're not really cultivating self-love. You're staying the same. You're not having those experiences in real life. And it's not as meaningful. You're not cultivating real relationships that could last a lifetime. Because when it's all done and you're sitting there in a pile of your own jizz, the problems are still there. You're all alone, still, maybe. Your life hasn't changed, and if anything, it's only gotten a little worse, even if it is just the respect that you might hold for yourself. You're undermining your self-confidence, your self-worth when you're doing these things, because why? What does that convey? It conveys that I don't have the willpower, I don't have the capability to get out there and actually make this happen for myself, even though you do. But when you are indulging in something like that, you're basically giving up. You're basically telling yourself, I give up. I don't want to try anymore. So it's just this constant battle, this constant struggle, or every day is a new day of trying to stay on the straight and narrow, and learning and developing that intrinsic motivation, figuring out what makes it compelling for you to get out there on a regular basis and do the approaches, get in the repetitions, stick to your work, go to bed at a reasonable hour if you need to be getting up early, taking responsibility for your life and doing what you need to do, because you don't get to do it all. You don't get to indulge and slack off and be undisciplined and then think all of a sudden you're going to be disciplined when you go out. Because what are you saying to yourself? When you're not being disciplined, you're building up a track record of not being disciplined. So then when you say to yourself, tonight I'm going out, I'm going to crush it, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to do that thing, your subconscious goes, who are you kidding, man? You're not going to do that. You can't even stay off the porn. You don't even have self-control to stay off of the junk food. You're running from your problems. You're running from yourself, but you don't realize you can't run from yourself. Wherever you go, there you are. You're trying to deny reality. You're trying to avoid reality. And there's a lot of maybe unpleasant truths that we have to deal with and we have to accept. But when you can maybe accept those things or use those emotions, those tough emotions, the sadness, the dismay, the worries, the fears, it's there to motivate you. It's there to tell you something. I need to take action. I need to change my life. I need to work on my finances. I need to make friends. I need to get out there and I need to talk to some women. Time is short. I don't have all the time in the world. I need to make the most out of my time. Treat your life like a professional. Because again, you don't get to have it all. Drop the ego. Quit trying to think that you're this guy and then you're not going to put yourself out there and you don't want to feel embarrassed. You don't want to confront the reality that when you go out and you try to do anything, you're going to fail, you're going to make mistakes, and that's never going to stop. But that's how anybody made it to the top and cultivated skills at the highest level. They failed the most. They went out there and they were determined, they didn't quit. They kept on looking at what they were doing, seeing where they could improve, seeing how they could refine things. You got to read books. You got to educate yourself. You got to learn from others. That's how this works. That's how it works. You're not going to do everything on your own. You're building off of the hard work and the innovation of thousands of years before you. Don't think all of a sudden you're just going to do everything on your own. Everybody's learning from someone. Everybody learned from someone. That's the point. It doesn't degrade you. It doesn't take away from you and your development and your skill sets. In fact, if anything, you're just going to be able to take it to a higher level because you're learning from others that came before you, because you're not having to start at the bottom. You're building off of what's already been done. And then you maybe can even do something that's never been done before yourself or change the game. But then at the end of the day, who cares? It's about your fulfillment, your enjoyment, your life, your quality of living. Because once you're gone, you're gone. Are you really going to care about the accomplishments that you made? When you're here, that's when it matters. But when you're gone, you're gone. You're not going to take your possessions with you. You're not going to take your money with you. And tomorrow's not even guaranteed, so learning to appreciate each and every day. And I will say that people that think that they've been doing something for years and years, I mean, you're taking the same actions and expecting different results. You have to experiment. You have to keep pushing yourself, and it's about standards too. Comfort kills greatness. When you get comfortable, you're no longer motivated to take it any further. You have to set your standards higher. You have to get clarity on your life. The sooner the better, in extreme detail. What is it that you want? What kind of characteristics do you want? What kind of attributes do you want to cultivate? How do you want to feel? What kind of friends do you want to have? What kind of traits and qualities do you expect in the people that you're going to surround yourself by? What kind of girls do you want to be with? What do they look like? What is your type? What kind of personality do they have? What is it about yourself that you respect? Or what is it that you like about yourself? I mean, these are some things that you could sit down and think about it. Sit down, strategize, come up with an action plan. You're not going to read a book, you're not going to watch a video, and like the Matrix, all of a sudden just have a skill downloaded in your mind. Jiu-jitsu? I know jiu-jitsu? It doesn't work like that. What you got to do is you got to get out there and you have to fail. You have to go through that phase where it's difficult, where things aren't working. And you trust in your mentors. You trust in the people that you're learning from. You're searching out the answers. All the answers are out there for you. They're all out there. We live in the information age. If anything, it's just maybe finding the quality information. But even then, if you're searching, you'll find it. And who knows? You can learn something from anything and use your own discernment. Think for yourself. Do you appreciate what it is that you're learning? Do you resonate with what it is that you're being shown? And that's what it takes. Action. Getting out there, taking action. When you see that girl, you're not sitting there hesitating, going, what's the opener? What's the line? And then you don't even approach. The best thing you can do is get in there and trust in yourself. And maybe the words that you're saying, maybe they're not the most suave things to say, the most intellectual things. It's not smooth, but it's better than not getting in there. And ultimately too, when you work on yourself and you start to cultivate self-respect through your actions, through making commitments and following through on those commitments, starting with yourself, you're building up a track record with yourself of somebody that follows through with what they say, of somebody that keeps commitments to themselves, building self-trust, self-discipline, self-respect, validating yourself, trusting in yourself, consulting with yourself, thinking for yourself, no longer looking for approval from the external world, but no, giving yourself approval and setting the standard for your life, whatever that might be for you. You set the standard. And then you see that girl and you go up and you make the attempt, because it's no longer about the lines that you're placing the value on. It's about yourself, your commitments, respecting yourself, and understanding that getting up there and just conveying yourself however that might be, talking about what you like, sharing your perspectives, not walking up thinking, I hope she likes me, but I hope we get along. I hope I like her. Because you're no longer trying to fill some void within you, because you've sorted that out for yourself. You get fulfillment from being with yourself, being alone with yourself, being a friend to yourself, going to the beach, going to a movie, doing whatever you got to do, and being self-reliant, not needing anybody else to be there with you, to hold your hand. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't make friends, and of course you should, but you're not dependent on any one person, just the same as you're not dependent on any one girl. But you have the skill set to get out there and meet the people you need to meet and make things happen for yourself. Independence. I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my channel, like the video, leave me a comment, and as well, if you want to hit me up, datingdestruction@gmail.com. Until next time, peace out, my friends.